This is the inside of the Swift Challenger 565 SE. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on just here. Once I've done this, I can turn the water pump on just here. The water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps and fill the boiler if it has been drained down. By pressing view levels, you can see the condition of the leisure battery just here. This is just indicating that we're currently connected to main supply and that we are using the caravan leisure battery. If we were hitched up to a tow vehicle and we press view levels, we would also get a voltage reading of the vehicle battery as well. Just here we have the control panel for the Aldi heating and hot water system. To turn it on, just press here. And then on initial startup, you will see that we have a little picture of a 2-pin plug, just indicating that we're connected to mains electricity. And you'll see an internal temperature of the caravan. If I now press menu, it will bring up its basic functions. So right at the very top here, we have the thermostat for the heating. It will drop all the way down to 5 degrees for frost protection and go all the way up to 30 degrees. Whenever the circulation pump is in operation, you will get this little circle just appear here. Next we have a picture of a shower head, and this is for hot water. So hot water off, hot water on, and hot water in boost mode. Boost mode is very handy if you are having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want hot water very quickly. If you do perform the hot water boost and the heating is running, the heating will turn off as it needs to use that extra power. So even though now I've turned the heating on and I've turned hot water on, the system hasn't actually fired up yet because we haven't given it a power source. So if I want to run the system on mains electricity, I just come to these plus and minuses just here. And if I now press plus, I can run on 1 kilowatts, 2 kilowatts, or 3 kilowatts. This is all just dependent on the amperage of the site you're on to try and avoid tripping. If you are not connected to mains electricity, you can run on gas by highlighting the flame. And what you can also do if you have both power sources available to you is running dual fuel, which is very handy, especially in the winter months of the year if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. If I now press the spanner, this will go into the settings menu. And up here, firstly, we just have set the time, set the day of the week, and if you tick show, it will then show you this on the home screen. Next, we have a picture of a moon, and this is night mode. So we can turn night mode on and off just at the top here. We can then set the temperature we would like it to be for that period of time. And then we can set when we would like night mode to begin, whether it's for all days of the week or just individual, and then when we would like night mode to end. We can also, by highlighting this one here, invert the backlight, so the screen goes to black and the writing goes to white. And if this one is highlighted, no hot water will be made throughout that period, which is very handy if you're wild camping, so you're not wasting gas heating hot water whilst you're asleep. Next we have a picture of a sun, and this is virtually the same again, but just for the daytime. You can also set literally just one delayed start and stop to the system, so you could have it so the system fires up at say 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday and then turns itself off again at say midday on a Saturday. Prioritize is what the system prioritizes in using when in that dual fuel mode. So if you are basically on a very low amp site you can flip it on its head so it consumes more gas and less electricity, but for the majority of the time you want it to prioritise main supply over gas. Next we have temperature offset for the internal thermostat. If you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly alter it by a few degrees. If I now arrow down, we just have screen brightness, etc. just here. Antimicrobial just here. If you turn this on, basically what will happen is it will rapidly heat up the boiler and kill off any bacteria that may be in the system. Pump settings. Literally just leave it on the one it's on now and leave it in thermal mode. Do not have it on continuous. Next we have button beeps on and off. Language. External start, you do have to have an additional sim box added if you wanted to control the system via an app. These ones are not used on this particular model. We then have a load monitor just here. So if you use this and you know how many amps the site is, so let's say we're on a 10 amp site, it now wouldn't matter that I'm running on 3 kilowatts because it's limiting itself to avoid tripping. And because that's now an activated function, it's appeared here, and then you can go straight back to it, turn it up, turn it down, or turn it back off again. Next we have service, which is more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything is up to. Full factory reset if there's a problem with it, and then installed accessories. There is nothing else in here that you really need to be using. And then we end up back at the beginning again. If I now move to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, you will now see that we have the Aldi boiler itself just here. If I now lift up, we then have the water pump just here, and then the surge dampener just sitting next to it to drain the boiler down for either travel or winterization. It's all just done on the yellow lever just here. Before draining the boiler down, make sure that the water pump has been turned off, and then lift up the yellow lever and it will then drain all the water out of the boiler underneath the caravan at this point just here. If you're fully winterizing the caravan, I always suggest that you also go around the van and open up all the taps as well, because this will help release any airlocks in the system and make it drain down far more efficiently. When it comes to refilling the boiler, reclose all the taps, close the drain valve, fill up the aqua roll, drop in the submersible, turn on the water pump, and then it will begin to refill the boiler. Let the pump run for a few minutes as it fills the boiler up, and then begin opening the taps. They will cough and splutter as they force the air out of the system. Once they're running freely on both hot and cold, reclose, and then the system will fully reprime itself. Also underneath here is the control board for the Truma motor mover. We then have the consumer unit just here, and if I flap down, you can see that we've got the mains trip switches just here. So we've got the 3 individual MCBs, the main RCD and the test button just there, and they correspond on this part of the sticker just here. So if there's anything not working on main supply, just check to see if you've tripped at this point here. We then also have the 12 volt fuses just here, and again they correspond on this part of the sticker just here. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, just check to see if you've blown a fuse. Up the top here we have isolator switches for components that use main supply. So if you turn off this one just here, the heating and hot water system will not work on the mains. And if you turn off this green one just here, the battery charger will no longer charge the leisure battery. This one will illuminate if you have reverse polarity connected to the caravan. This can sometimes be found on some continental sites. And then over here we have buttons. These are mainly for the workshops. So all you can really do is just press select and it will give you a voltage reading of the leisure battery. The vehicle battery if you were hitched up. And then lastly we have full system shutdown just here. So if you're planning on not using the caravan for long periods of time, you can press this and it will kill any residual draw on the leisure battery. If I now move across to the other bench seat and again just remove the cushions, you will see that we have a good amount of storage underneath here. We then also have the box for the alarm. The PIR sensor for the alarm is just there, and this is what you look at if you do use the program button. And then also if I just remove this section, you'll see that we also have some more 12-volt fuses just there. They are labelled up and they're mainly for components on the outside of the caravan. In the overhead locker just here you will find the radio, CD in here, eject on here. The source button turns the unit on and off, and it will also switch you between your auxiliary plug-in point down there, CD and AM and FM. Search for radio stations just on the arrows, volume control just here. Easy graphic equalizer just here. Dometic fridge just here, and it's on and off just here. We're currently now running on main supply with the little picture of the 2-pin plug just there. If we weren't connected to mains, we can run on gas just by pressing the flame. These particular units auto ignite themselves, so you do not need to do anything else. If it fails to light, it will begin to beep at you and you'll get a red flashing triangle just here. If you think it may just be down to a bit of air in the system, you can make the fridge try again just by pressing the button. And then lastly, we have a picture of a battery, and this one is 12-volt maintained to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. Currently, if I press this, it will beep at us and we will get a red triangle because we're not connected up to a tow vehicle with the engine running. Temperature control just here. And then we have the removable freezer box just here. Microwave just here. It's always advisable to remove any contents for travel. This will work when the motorhome's connected to mains electricity. And I'm sorry, I mean the caravan. Quick start just here. Stop just here. And then we have the auto menu, defrost, etc. as well. The microwave is plugged in up here. This section can be removed. It's just attached on magnets. And then in here you will find the solar panel regulator. You do not need to do anything with it. It will just smart charge the leisure battery as required. You'll see we've got a flashing green light on there, just indicating that the solar panel is receiving UV light. And then we have a charge status above that. If it's solid green like it is at the moment, it's basically telling you that the leisure battery is as good as fully charged and the solar panel is not required. Whenever it's popping a charge into the leisure battery, that solid green light there will change to red. Hob just here, And again, we've got an electric hot plate that will work when the caravan is connected to mains electricity, and it just operates here. Everything else is gas, and it's just a matter of pushing in, twisting and pressing the igniter just here. Directly beneath is the grill. Sometimes the grill does take a little longer to light, especially if you put a gas bottle on. And then at the bottom is the oven. Underneath the oven you will find storage, and there's also a plug plugged in which is for the electric hot plate. Beside it, again, storage. You can also see the draining board and the sink cover just there, and a pull-out rack. But also just tucked down there is a couple of gas isolation taps. You will find gas isolation taps close to, obviously, gas appliances. They're all in the on position, and quite frankly they can stay like that. I always say they're more for maintenance than anything else. If you do smell gas in the caravan, just go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. They are colour coded and correspond on the sticker just here. In the wardrobe you'll find the header tank for the Aldi boiler. Just make sure that the fluid level is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once the heating is up to temperature, as the fluid will expand in the tank. If you do need to top it up, you can just remove the collar just here, unscrew the cap, take out this submersible, and then just top it up. If you're going to do this, just make sure that you are using the correct Aldi top-up solution. Also in here is the television aerial. So on the wall we have the digital amplifier, on and off just here, and then control the boost just here. Always make sure that this is on before trying to tune a telly in. To raise the TV aerial, just undo the collar and push up. And this little green window here represents the back of the aerial, so you know which way it's facing. Get it into the position you require and then lock it into place. Try to avoid over tightening these collars, as you do run the risk of splitting them. H stands for horizontal, so the aerial sitting like this. We can flip it to vertical for additional tuning if required, and all you need to do is just make sure that you can turn this round, and as you can see, it will then go to vertical. Always make sure that it is back to horizontal before lowering it, and always make sure that it is lowered for travel. Omnivent fan just here. To use this, firstly wind the roof vent open, and then middle button turns the unit on, and then you'll see you've got arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling, and it's variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that all roof vents are down for travel. We then come to both rear beds. Lots of storage beneath both of them. And you can see underneath this one is where you'll find the freestanding table. Television bracket just there. And now if I now go into the rear of the caravan, we have the washroom. So we've got the shower cubicle just here. Always make sure that the shower screen is secure for travel. We then have the basin, the heated towel rail just here, and then the Thetford toilet. So to open to the cassette, just slide the grey lever across, push to flush on the blue button just here, and then level indicator just here. This will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close back up to the cassette again. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left it open. Smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarms just here, both battery operated, so just press the buttons every now and then to make sure that they are fully operational. And then to make the front double bed, just slide this section out just here, and then just drop your cushions into place. I personally flip the cushions over because they're a lot flatter on the underside, but it is just down to personal preference.